Hi, I'm Greg, and welcome to another episode of Passion of the Geeks Unplugged. Today, I'm going to do another of these streaming roundups. I'm calling it Streaming Roundup number 3, Some More Shows. On the main show, from time to time, or actually quite often, I try to recommend some shows I watched, usually on a streaming service, that I think some of our listeners might enjoy as well. But I can't recommend all the shows I think are worth watching on the main show because, we try to keep it under an hour. So today I'll try to provide this service that I think that Passion of the Geeks can provide for you to just help you navigate the plethora of streaming services and the amount the huge amount of new shows, old shows, and everything in between that they offer. So just as always, again, 5 shows, because I think that's a good number. 5 shows I think you should check out. Maybe you might enjoy them. If your tastes are similar to mine, then you'll definitely enjoy them. And honestly, there might be some recurring things on here because, there are just a few shows that I think are so good that I can't recommend them enough. But let's not lose any time. This is an unplugged short episode. So, number 1, Sex Education. Just started or just released the 3rd season on Netflix. Sex Education, as the title suggests, is a show about sex, but it's not only about that. It's actually about relationships. It's about, friendships. It's about father, daughters, mothers, sons relationships and everything there is. I really enjoy the show. It's quite well written. It's created by Laurie Nunn, and she's been showrunning it for 3 seasons. And the quality of all 3 seasons has been exceptionally high. The 3rd season especially was pretty good. I almost binged all 8 episodes, I think. It stars Gillian Anderson, that some of you might remember from X-Files, Asa Butterfield, Emma Mackey, a whole bunch of other very, very, very talented people. It's set in England at an English school, and it's fun, it's interesting, it has what I think really nice message about positivity and openness. And I think that most people might actually enjoy sex education. It can get a little bit raunchy at times, but it's definitely worth it. Moving on to number 2, to another streaming service, to Amazon this time. Amazon released a show called Cruel Summer, which in a way deals with different subject matters than sex education, but from a whole other point of view. Cruel Summer, created by Bert V. Royal. He's probably best known for writing Easy A couple of years ago, the movie starring Emma Stone adapting The Scarlet Letter. So, Cruel Summer deals with some, very serious subject matters. It's about abuse, child grooming, and so on. And it's obviously not everyone's taste. But what I really liked about the show is the way the story is told. So it's set in the 1990s, and every episode focuses on a specific date across 3 different years. So we have 1993, 1994, and 1995, and it tries to tell the story of what happened in that cruel summer, from kind of 3 points of view, one just before, one during, and one after. And it's an interesting storytelling technique that even if you don't enjoy the show, maybe just watch one episode just to experience this, what I think very, very interesting way to tell this, very dark subject matter sometimes. So it's about, child grooming, kidnapping, and so on. So it's obviously not everyone's cup of tea. Moving on to yet another streaming service. I'm an equal opportunity offender here. Only Murders in the Building. I'm watching it on Disney Plus. Maybe around the world it's available on other streaming services. But this one is something really cool and funny. It's a comedy mystery crime show starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. And Martin Short and Steve Martin, I mean, they work really well together. Everything they do together, yeah, I'm immediately interested. But adding Selena Gomez to the mix, it's just so weird. But it works. So it's actually co-created by Steve Martin. And the basic premise of the plot is that these three people are obsessed with a true crime podcast. And then a murder or a crime happens in their building. And basically they decide to do a real crime podcast about it. It sounds a little bit meta, and it actually is. But it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that's Only Murders in the Building. Around here, it's available on Disney+. Moving on to another Netflix show. And I think I've mentioned this one before, but I recently rewatched an episode or two, and it just, it immediately, caught my interest again. It's called Shadow and Bone. It's a young adult novel written by Lee Bardugo, and the series was developed by Eric Heiser. He's the guy who wrote Arrival. And obviously it's good and evil with some gray area, young adult fiction about, being the chosen one or whatever. And that part is fine. But what I like is the world building, and especially how this world looks. It has a little bit of a Russian, northern, Slavic vibe to it. And I found that really interesting. It's kind of a different Slavic vibe than, for example, something like The Witcher has, but there's much more high fantasy. But it almost feels like something, Tsarist or whatever. And I found this refreshing for a change. Kind of to have, soldiers who look a little bit different, to have noble people who dress a little bit differently than we're used from these, young adult fantasy novels. So Shadow and Bone, definitely something worth checking out. It's going to return for a second season, continuing the storyline. And apparently they're also trying to tell some original stories within the world. And I'm quite excited for Shadow and Bone on Netflix. And last but not least, and this is one I will probably, keep recommending till the end of times. Underground Railroad on Amazon Prime. Developed, created for television by Barry Jenkins. Moonlight. Do I need to say more? Based on the novel by Colson Whitehead. And this is just my jam. It's honestly not a show that you want to binge. I had to space out the episodes over, I think I spaced it out over 2 weeks because, each episode kind of, how should I put it? It's very beautiful, but it's heavy. It has the necessary gravitas to talk about such an important topic. And even though the show is beautiful, or kind of has a very interesting way to adapt the magical realism that Colson Whitehead's book has as well. It's definitely something that is going to stick with me for a very, very long time, just as the book did. I'm already looking forward to rereading the book with another of my other class of my students again. And Underground Railroad is just a really, really good adaptation of a really, really good book. So if you haven't watched Underground Railroad, I personally think it's a reason to, subscribe to Amazon Prime. Okay, so this was it for this, streaming roundup. Sex Education on Netflix, Cruel Summer on Amazon, Only Murders in the Building on Disney+, or I think it's Hulu or FX on Hulu or something like that. Shadow and Bone on Netflix and Underground Railroad on Amazon. Yeah, check out these shows. You're not going to regret it. So this is it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to our little podcast here. We're on all major podcasting services and on www.passionofthegeeks.com. You can send in questions and suggestions to passionofthegeeks@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter @PassionOTGeeks. Take care.